This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Our buddy Scott Tabor, he played against those Texas Longhorns a few times. He's going to Arlington. Are you already there, Tabes?
No, we're in beautiful downtown McAlester, Oklahoma.
Ooh.
You're welcome, Chamber of Commerce.
All right,
we
so
drove down after work last night and decided to stop here.
Scott Tabor, a member of the 1979 College World Series team, joins us now. We'll talk to him a lot on Fridays as we get ready. You're headed to Arlington this weekend. I know it's a big deal playing Texas to start the season, but at least from a ranking standpoint, this will be the only unranked team you play this weekend.
Yeah, and that won't proceed forward as the season goes through. I'm sure Texas is going to be strong as they usually are. And the team this will count, in the rankings in the end. So the strength of schedule and everything that goes into the pot when it comes to getting a regional and super regional and all the other good stuff that we look forward to.
Two lefties in the rotation. I want to get to some of the pitching, but let's talk about Hagen Smith. He's going to get the ball first tonight for the Razorbacks. The lefty went 7-2 last year, an ERA of 4.66. What are you looking for tonight to start the season with Hagen Smith?
It's going to be interesting to see a grown-up Hagen Smith. Your freshman year, you come in, and I watched some high school, and his high school film and his high school staff were off the charts. And he's a great pitcher, but he was a freshman, and you can see he wore down last year near the end of the season, and that's pretty typical, pretty much all freshmen. This year, he's had another year of throwing consistently and working out consistently and diet and running and the whole thing, and your muscles. When you hit 20, your muscles change, and we'll see a big difference in Hagen Smith tonight.
Scott, this is Chuck. When you come out of the gate, how are you, man?
Good,
when
man.
you come out of the gate, you got a guy like Smith, and you've lost a guy like Wiggins. And do you approach things any differently? Do you think Dave and Matt Hobbs, do you think they approach anything differently with Hagen now because of what's happened with Jackson and because you know that, he may end up being your guy during the course of the season?
Well, that's one of the things that these tournaments are great for because you're playing great competition. And everybody in it, not just Arkansas, not just Texas, not just TCU, everybody's looking to see what they really have. In the past, way past, it seems like, you kind of knew what you had coming up from the year before, from the class you signed and who may and may not contribute. But the transfer portal and all the things that have happened in college sports, nobody really knows what they have. On paper, you know what you have. And I'm pretty sure that Van Horn gets on Indeed, starts collecting resumes at the end of the year. Here's what I need. And people start calling. So, well, I got a guy over here. Tonight, I don't think anything will be any different. You injuries are part of the game. Everybody knows it. Every pitcher knows. You have X number of pitches in your arm before something breaks down, and you just work through that. You don't think about that, but they're prepared. The preparedness that they have with the depth they developed on the pitching staff is incredible. And you hear him talk about it. I almost hate to hear him talk about it, how excited he is about the pitching, because last year he was really, really excited about the hitting. If you remember, I've never heard him talk about a team like he did last year in the hitting, and the hitting was not there until near the end of the season. But you've got, the arms are there and the arms are loaded. Now it's just, what do you have? So he'll be on a pitch count. And, hopefully our hitter will be out there and the other pitcher will be on a pitch count. Everybody is early in the season. And then you see some guys start rolling some guys in to see where they can play in the middle of the lineup, because that's a very, very important position on the pitching staff anymore is the middle guys. Used to when I played, they gave you the ball and they didn't want to see you again till the ninth inning. And now it's give me 40 good innings, and then we'll come bring in a guy, and then we may bring in one guy for one inning, one guy for two innings, and roll to the closer. So they're developing. It's kind of like Musk trying to figure out his lineup. It's an ever evolving situation, and pitching is like that. It's a chess match.
You brought up something there that I think is interesting. You were raised in an era, and I was too, where, as you said a minute ago, when you were the starting pitcher, they didn't want to have to come see you for a while. Can you win a national championship? I mean, can you get to Omaha, win the whole thing without what I would call a bell cow on Friday night, a guy that's going to go 13-1, kind of like you did, Kruger did, and those guys. Can you win a championship now with a 5-inning guy as your number one starter?
Chuck, I don't think any team in America from college, from Division I college up through pros, I don't think anybody expects or even really wants to have a bell cow. Now, they want to have a bell cow in that they know what they're going to get every time they get on the field, which is what every pitcher strives for, what every coach just looks for, is knowing exactly what they're going to get when they stick them out on the mound. Now, I don't think they want or expect a guy to throw 9 innings. That's just, those days are gone because they don't want to wear their arms out. They can see. I personally can look back and I used to think, gosh, did I just lose my focus at the end of the season? Well, not really. You kind of lose your arm, lose your legs. You lose some of your effectiveness because you get tired. You don't feel tired, but your arm doesn't perform up to where it was. And so this team and this school and this program doesn't work for being highly successful in the first month of the season. This program works towards finishing high enough to get a regional and finishing with a strength of schedule to get a super regional, knowing that they want to be absolutely have all their bullets in their holster going into the World Series and having good, strong arms. You saw last year Smith hit that lull. Smith and Tiger, it's just because they weren't used to throwing that much. And so it's you used to you ride that horse till it just fell out and then bring in another one. And now they stagger everybody. They have the analytics to look at things and the innings pitched. And we used to have pitch counts, and it was really more for, wow, you threw 180 pitches. You're at 150. How you feel? I feel pretty good. Okay, good work out there. It was just I used to laugh at with no high school baseball, I didn't have to understand why they were even asking or keeping up with the number of pitches you had. It was kind of funny. But now it's a big deal. Before you have in the middle of an inning, you hit your pitch count before you have in the middle of the inning. Even the whole game rules have changed where, and I wish they'd had this rule back in the day. You can get a win as a starter without going 5 innings. Well, he's got a 40-pitch limit. You're at 2-1, you come out after 40 pitches, you're going to be the winner because you announced it before the game. And so it's a different dynamic, and it's a different. In that essence, the game has changed. Some of the rules have changed, and I think it's for the better. For the long-term health of the game, you have a lot of pitchers that peak, great pitchers that peak, and they peter out by the time before they even get a chance to go to start making some money. So it'll be interesting to see how they flip-flop things around. They got a lot of toys to play with.
You said transfer portal a little bit earlier. We talk about it virtually every day when it comes to football and basketball. What's the effect that you're seeing in baseball?
Well, you could almost determine your teams, but before the transfer portal, you could kind of almost see how your next 2 or 3 seasons are going to be. This recruiting class was really down, and we lost this guy to injury, and lost this guy to injury. We had a couple of guys that just lived the program, and one guy broke up with his girlfriend and he quit. What are we left with? Well, from 2 years ago, we had a catcher that was not very good. He kind of, but he hung around. He's probably going to be our starter. He's the best we got. Not anymore. Not anymore. There's guys, especially where the program is, and the health of the program, the facilities, and the track record of this program, people want to come here. And so recruiting, you recruit high school players. You don't really recruit transfer portal guys. You look and see what's available, and we all know that that's not always, they may not be available before they're found out that they wanted. All of a sudden they become available. Yeah, I want to go in the portal, sign with Arkansas the next day, or sign with Texas the next day. So it's really kind of cool. Coaches, some in football, I could hear Pittman, saying he doesn't like it, and some coaches don't like it. But you think about it in baseball, if you have a new draft every year, and it's fair trade. I need a catcher. Well, I got 2 catchers. I got one coming from Oklahoma and one coming from JUCO All-American. So you used to not get that. It was You had to wait 2 years for JUCO, 1 or 2 years for JUCO, and then you had to go find them. So it's you have guys coming in, and we see it with guys leaving our program, going to other programs. We're going to face Taylor. Who is it that with Texas that left us? And he's going to be probably a Friday night starter. Yeah. One of our pitchers.
Mm-hmm. Hey, one to
Heston Toll.
Yeah.
Heston Toll.
Yeah. Arkansas starting the season with another injury to a starting pitcher, with Jackson Wiggins going to have Tommy John surgery. You got some experience with this because your son went through elbow surgery at a young age. What's ahead? What's this next year or so look like for someone going through this? Because you dealt with it firsthand just a few years ago.
It's the hardest thing for an athlete at any level to go through is being injured. For an elite level, for an elite pitcher, it's horrible. It's because in baseball and pitching, you're not out there throwing and all of a sudden your arm breaks in half and falls off. You got to pick it off, walk off the mound, and say, "I think I got a problem." You have a little tightness, or it doesn't feel just right because the stress on an arm during any pitch, especially with Wiggins throwing it, bringing it up there, hitting triple figures once in a while, there's some serious torque going on, and something's just not right. And when you're in pro ball and you're playing every day, you try to grind through it. You don't never want to say my arm hurts, and you try to grind through it. Sometimes you do, and sometimes it turns out it's a real injury. There's a difference between pain and injury. I used to harp that to my kids. Both of them played 3 sports, and said, "You're going to have some pain. You got to know the difference between pain and injury." In pitching, a little pain can, once it's examined deeply, can turn into either a career-ending injury or, this is not a career-ending injury. It'll be about a 2-year reboot. Nick Griffin from Monticello is going through the same thing. His dad and I were talking, and it's even though you're well and you're healthy, your muscles and your nerves kind of have to realign to where, because baseball is a pinpoint game. You've got to know exactly where it's going, exactly the release point. Things feel different. So there's a period of time where the adjustment you think is there, and all of a sudden everybody goes, "Well, you can't pitch anymore." Then you can still pitch. You just have to retrain everything. So he'll battle through it. If you're in the Arkansas program, your regimen is just your workout regimen, and all the analytics they have are so precise and so pitching oriented and detailed that he'll battle through it and he'll work through it. They're not just going to send him home and say, "Get well and come back and see us in another year."
Yeah.
So they'll get it done, and he could come back stronger. It's a lot of them do.
Well, Scott, enjoy the games. I know playing Texas brings back a lot of great memories for you and TCU, Oklahoma State. So a bunch of your old teammates are going to be there from the 79 team, Coach DeBryan. So if you need a handicap spot, you better get there early because Tabor and his group will have them all sewn up before the game. So should be a fun weekend. Should be a fun weekend in Arlington.
Yeah, it should be. I can't wait to see us beat Texas, and I hope we 10-run rule.
So, all right, we'll enjoy the games, and we'll catch up as the season starts to unfold.
All right, see you, Chuck.
All right, Mountain Home Zone, Scott Tabor.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.